thank you so much. And thank you again for taking the time out to join us for our weekly webinars in which we cover several different topics. And this is one of its kind. For the first time, we'll be looking at Bitcoin. If any of you guys are following us on our social media channels or handles, which I will share them later on, you will know that we are consistently discussing cryptos, especially Bitcoin, in our daily analysis. Whether that is a live video or whether that's a technical analysis video, we do cover them in quite a lot of detail. But today we will have a much deeper dive into this topic, and then we will cover this particular area in a lot more further detail. Now, as always, as is a series of 3 questions, I need to ask you as a part of a housekeeping, so for me to understand the level of complexity that I can adopt according to this your knowledge level. So the first question I wanted to ask you guys is, please say yes or no if you have been trading for under a year. All right, okay, so I see a lot of people who have joined in this webinar, they have been trading under a year, okay? Now, the second question is, please say yes if you have been trading for over 2 years. This is really good because this confirms that we have traders who are absolutely committed to the art of trading. They wanted to develop their skill, they wanted to gather as much knowledge as they can in order to make themselves a better trader so that they can control the risk and they can have a better state of mind when they execute those important buy and sell orders. Now, that is really important to have a good mental state. Now, the third one and the final one is, please say yes or no if you have attended any of my previous webinars. All right, we have a mixed bag where some people are from, they have attended, and then there are some people who haven't. But majority of the people, as we've discussed over here, they are new to this chat room, and this is the first perhaps webinar that they will be having with myself. So just a bit about myself. My name is Naeem Aslam. I come with a wealth of 15 years of trading experience. During this period, I have worked as a hedge fund trader for Bank of New York Mellon and in equity trading with Bank of America. Now, currently, I work as a chief market analyst for AvaTrade. So that means that every day the analysis that you see on our website is primarily done by myself. So that is a little bit about myself. So let's crack on with our webinar without any further ado. So as always, just a small bit of a housekeeping. Anything which will be discussed in this video cannot be perceived as advice. If you are seeking for one, please do consider consulting with your own financial advisors. Now, as always, just wanted to share our contact details over here. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you guys to be on Twitter, because it gives you all the important information before the publications, the tier 1 publications will push them through. If you are on Twitter, you'll get that information straight on your mobile. Secondly, our YouTube handles are also there for you guys as well. The daily fundamental and technical analysis videos are posted there. Now, the most important stuff, let's move on to that. AvaTrade's unique technology, AvaProtect, is a revolutionary one-click risk management tool available on AvaTrade Web Trader and AvaTrade Go app. With AvaProtect, you can purchase protection against loss for a defined period after opening a trade. If the protection ends, you have an open position that is losing, AvaTrade will reimburse the loss directly into your trading account. The only cost is to AvaProtect itself. Now, the agenda, the most important one, it is like, what is Bitcoin and is it really a safe haven? Secondly, we will discuss what is moving Bitcoin prices. Number 3, is the supply really limited? How big is the demand? That is the next question. And the last 2 areas that we will focus on will be defining levels and what other coins are there. Now, the first thing first. So I want to ask you guys, what do you think, what is Bitcoin? So feel free to punch some of the answers there, whatever comes in your head, just say it straight away. Why are you buying Bitcoin, or what do you think is Bitcoin? What is the speciality of Bitcoin? Why it is so famous these days? So any answers? Okay, so someone is coming up with a form of a payment. That is a really, really good description, just like how currencies are. Excellent. Someone else has mentioned that it is a virtual currency. Great. Both answers are exactly on the point. It is a form of a payment. It is a virtual currency. Now, the second part of the same question is it invisible currency? William is saying this is an invisible currency. That is true. Decentralized currency. That is, again, very, very true. Really good answers over here. Glad to know that you guys are aware of the basics of them. So the question is it really a safe haven? Yes, Bitcoin is considered as a safe haven. The safe haven assets are those assets which are popular when everyone is worried about their investments in stocks or in other assets. So, for example, gold is traditionally considered as your safe haven asset, meaning when the market falls, when there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, traders will start buying gold. And that is the same sort of a concept which is associated with Bitcoin now as well. Now, the second is, what is moving Bitcoin prices? Well, we will have a detailed look of this in a little bit later, but when we will discuss the prices. But just to give you an overview of that, the two major factors which are really moving Bitcoin prices is PayPal, when it announced that you can use PayPal on, you can use Bitcoin on PayPal's platform, and secondly, and more recently, it was the news about Tesla, which invested 1.5 billion in 1.05 billion in Bitcoin. Now you'll be able to buy Tesla by using Bitcoin to a certain extent. Now it also means that if you own S&P 500 index, you also own Bitcoin as well, because Tesla is part of the S&P 500 index. Now the next question is the supply really limited? Now, this is the question to you guys. What do you think is the total supply of Bitcoin? If you guys know the answer, punch that answer over there, because this will really, if you know the total supply, then you will know if the exactly 21 million. Amutha is right on top of things. So he's saying that 21 million. So that means the supply is actually really limited. And that means that after 21 million Bitcoins, nothing can be minted. At that time, there will be no more supply for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin prices from there onwards will start increasing even at a higher level. Now, the next question is that how big is the demand for Bitcoin? Well, obviously, Bitcoin demand has increased and amplified over the last few years because institutions, hedge funds, family offices, bigger banks, and everyone else within that area, they have certainly known to they've become more interested in Bitcoin, and one way or the other, we are seeing family offices and institutional money flowing evidently into this area, and that is really helping the demand in terms of a Bitcoin. And also that is one of the reasons that we are seeing, Bitcoin prices are moving higher. Another important thing that especially now the US corporates have jumped into this area, and by that I mean Tesla, which has decided to buy Bitcoin, is another very much defined and important area that why the demand is just continuously increasing in relation to that. Now, defining the levels, let's go on to our MT4 platform, and that is where we are going to look at in Bitcoin in a lot more detail. we will have a further discussion in relation to that. But I just wanted to make sure before we start defining levels, before we start looking at the nitty-gritty details and the buy and the sell zones where there are stronger possibility of orders sitting there, are you guys clear so far in relation to what we have discussed? All right, great. Now, if you have seen any of our previous videos, especially the one before this news came out, and that is not yet yesterday, day before yesterday, in our daily video, we discussed the possibility of Bitcoin prices really exploding. And that particular talk that we did was before all of this price action really came into effect, because at the time, all of this price move was not there at all. All what I was looking at this trend over here, how the market is really trending to the upside. And at the time, the 50-day simple moving average was really kind of moving above the 100-day simple moving average. And so just for the record, this one over here, this is your 50-day simple moving average. This one over here is your 100-day simple moving average, and this one is your 200-day simple moving average. So going back to that question, to that same factor, on day before yesterday, I was looking at the prices prices were coming back towards the 50-day simple moving average, or in around this particular price level, and I was seeing that the 50-day simple moving average has crossed above the 200-day simple moving average, which is a bullish sign. So we were discussing that there are greater chances for prices to pick up some serious steam. And later in the day, what we experienced was that the prices had this big move that you can see right over here. Because this move, where the prices, we can see the two big spikes, these two spikes happen on the back of a news when the news came out that Tesla has invested in Bitcoin, and then that is when this move really happened. And at the time when the prices were about to break out of these particular zone, and we were still very much within the previous highs were just right over here. I was talking in live session, in our technical live session, when the prices were trading just literally over here, that this isn't an opportunity because prices are likely to explode to the upside. We are very, very much likely to get a great big move to the upside, and you could take the trade at that time, or you can wait for the price to break above the all-time high and then take that. And then obviously that trade has been very, very fruitful in terms of these particular price levels. And then as you can see, the prices have crossed above the previous high, which was 41,900 approximately, to a new level, which is approximately now 48,000. Now, in terms of, let's do the bigger analysis, and then let's see where are we sitting in terms of bigger price analysis with respect to Bitcoin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of some of the price levels over here, which I had on the chart before, because obviously these ones are no longer going to be any valid for this particular one, but I do want to touch base on them, and I wanted to show you guys how high Bitcoin has really gone. So in December 2018, in September 2018, prices really crashed, and then they formed a sort of a bottom in around just below the 4,100 price level. Precisely, it was pretty much the 3,700 price level. When price dropped from its previous high, which was formed back in 2017, right over here, when prices really touched the 18,000 price level, this was the price. And ever since, the price, so from this particular move, the price failed to gain any momentum, and it continued its journey to the upside. Now, if you see before that, prior to that, we had few weeks of massive bounce in Bitcoin prices, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive weeks of Bitcoin bouncing, and then right now we are also having 1, 2, 3, 4, and then retracement, and now we are again moving to the upside. But over here, when the first move happened, we had a very small retracement. When the prices started to move to the upside, we had this small bit of a retracement, then prices moved higher again. We had a very small retracement again, but then after that, this was the actual sell-off which really broke Bitcoin prices, and it brought it back in 2018, September 2018, at 3,700 price level. But the moment the price touched the 200-week moving average on your weekly time frame, we saw prices starting to move substantially higher from that price point. And from there onward, there was only one path for Bitcoin prices, which was skewed to the upside. And then in in May 2019, prices literally came in around 13,000 price level, and at the time there was a strong sentiment that people were thinking that, look, it is highly likely that we are going to go towards a new high. We are going to challenge the high, which was right over here at the time. This was the high, just in around 19,000. And when the prices were right over here, people were really thinking that now we are going for a bull run. But that didn't really happen. What really happened was, after that, the prices took another turn to the downside, and the price went below that critical level of 200-week moving average, and then once again it visited that 4,155 price level, and that was in early January or February this year, to be very precise about that time frame. I just have to make it a little bit more bigger, and then see, as you can see, in February this year, we saw the prices, going and forming a new low. So previous low was this one. The prices going back to these particular price lows, and then but once the price made, or it went into the same zone as the previous one. So this is the new one, and then this area was the previous one. When the price went into this area, then we started to see another rally. Now, when this rally really started for Bitcoin price, what happened was that people at the time started to think that, okay, now previously when the rally really happened, the prices were unable to reach the previous high, which was 19,000. So the target that everyone was really much focused on was 13,800. And as the Bitcoin price started to maneuver, started to move to the upside, it was very clear that it is going to take on this particular price level, and the momentum which took this price level right over here continued, and then it challenged this area of all-time high. And then you can see from the chart very clearly that when the price did come into its previous all-time high, this area, we had few weeks of hesitation. First price literally came, as you can see from this particular candle, the price did come close to that, but it didn't touch it. The second week, the price did attempt to touch that again. The third week, the price slightly acted a small percentage, small move above the previous all-time high. But then the following week, we saw another retracement, but the candle closed bullish, very bullish. And then from there onwards, guys, it was a journey that we are all seeing now. So once the journey started from there, it from here to here, it was all retracement. Price was only retracing its previous level, so it only retraced. So I will not really call this particular move, which I'm about to drop on the chart, really a big rally. So this was not a big rally. This was merely just a recovery, because over here we saw a massive drop and then from here we just saw the price gaining its previous highs. So it wasn't really a massive rally. So because on one hand you have the sell-off, and then on the other side you have a recovery over here. So price was just really recovering from its previous levels. The rally only began when the price started to cross above this particular price level, this was the area that we discussed in our analysis, in our videos. The prices are really moving to the upside, and now we are looking at levels which are going to form new. Now, the one clear indication was to measure the previous move. So the previous move was nearly about 20,000. So we started to project that 20,000 price level from 20,000, above 20,000 was really that 40,000 price level. And then this is exactly where the prices of Bitcoin really came. And because the rally from here to here and then from here to here pushed the prices to these particular price levels, and then we really saw the Bitcoin price reaching that 40,000 price level. But the 40,000 price level wasn't really enough for the stock price to for Bitcoin price to finish off, because we knew that something new is going to really happen from here. Now, what happened was that when the price touched this particular price level, there was a retracement. And that retracement of this, when the price started to move lower, really pushed the price just in around these particular price levels, which I'm going to draw on the chart for you. So this was the low, which was formed right over here, and then this was a previous resistance, because on your weekly chart you may not be able to see it very clearly. But if I quickly switch the time frame and I go into my daily time frame, just to show you that why the prices were really coming into that area, you'll be able to see it more clearly. So the moment that I go into daily time frame and I see that how prices, so you can see that how prices were coming lower, then you'll be able to see it. So we talked about, so let's just go on to a weekly time frame just for a second, and then now we're going to put a line just over here, that 28,000 price level. Now we're going to go into our daily time frame. So this was the area of consolidation, this right over here, and then this is where also the 50-day simple moving average on the daily time frame was trading. We knew that the prices, once it touched this particular price level, it was going to come and revisit. More importantly, when the price was here, it made its 40,000, the massive rally which happened, the retracement or a pullback was coming, and the pullback was coming towards its 50-day simple moving average, which really happened over here. Now, of course, the prices have gone really too far, and they've taken this resistance level without the new all-time high without any problem. Now prices are consolidating, as you can see. For the last few days, we are moving very much in a sideways direction. We are also quite far from 50-day simple moving average. This means that retracement is due, but that particular retracement which is due may not come straight away, because the target that everyone is very much focused on in the market really now with respect to Bitcoin price is really your 50,000 price level. And that means the price is still, after this small pullback, they can still continue their journey, and then they can still reach this particular area of 50,000. Now, of course, there is no guarantee of that the prices will touch that. But given the fact that everything is looking very, very positive, because all the moving averages are very much positive, apart from the RSI, which is showing us that, look, things are overbought, retracement is due, so you need to have a little bit of a precaution. But still, this level of RSI is much lower than the previous level, so we still have a little bit more room left in terms of RSI to continue to the upside. And remember, RSI can stay in a longer overbought zone when it comes to crypto for a fairly long period of time, as you can see from here and also from here as well. So RSI alone is not the best indicator in terms of crypto prices, because you can see that it can stay for a very long time, because last time it stayed in overbought area from December until January this year, and then it started to move back to the downside. And again, if the same thing over here happened as well when it went in the overbought area from October to literally late November, was it? So now once again we are entering into an area of overbought, but once again this can continue for a few months before we can see any retracement, any pullback. So that means that 50,000 price level, the one that we have put on up there, is very likely. It is very possible. In fact, my target for Bitcoin price is really above 50,000. I believe Bitcoin is very likely to touch 65,000, and this year we could see 100,000 in terms of a Bitcoin price as well. But what I am worried about in terms of a Bitcoin price is these sudden moves, the one that which has happened just over here. Don't really like these sort of a big moves. A gradual rally like this is really good, where you have a retracement and then you continue to move higher. That is good. But these spikes are not really really the best things can happen, and especially these spikes look even more freaky with the moment that we change the time frame to weekly time frame, because here the spikes are even more strong and prominent. Basically, these spikes on a weekly time frame, or whenever this spike like that really happen, it means that prices are likely to fall that rapidly as well. So right now, as you can see from our weekly chart, that we touched quite high on this one, but now we are moving lower. And then so far, the big momentum that we were really seeing in Bitcoin prices, it is still there, but it has started to fade a little bit. And the reason for that is because prices have started to move away from the highs of that week. So prices are literally moving, even though that we are still seeing consistency, and then this has been happening for a long period of time. But it's just something that we need to take in account, and we need to pay attention to. But as long as these moving average price continues to trade above the 50-day simple moving average, we have very little things to worry about. Keep an eye on your 4-hour time frame. Really want the price to stay above the 50-day simple moving average. Another big bullish sign has also emerged on the 4-hour time frame, which is that the 100-day simple moving average has crossed above the 200-day simple moving average, and that means after this pullback, a pullback which can really push the prices between 43,000 to 44,000 into this area of support, we could see a massive rally from this area again to the upside, which can push the prices towards 50,000 and even beyond. Now, quickly, in any other coins, well, personally speaking, I only like, after Bitcoin, the only coin that I really like the most is Ethereum, and we've discussed Ethereum price action in our technical analysis videos before as well. When the price is crossed above the 1200 price level, again, very much the same concept. We talked about that at the time, because when the price crossed above the 1200 price level, because this was the price that we already saw back in September 2017. So right now, in terms of Ethereum, we do really have a massive potential, because the rally hasn't happened, because this was the rally right over here, and after that we saw this massive bottom or a sell-off, and now we're seeing a little bit of recovery. So obviously the recovery has started, the rally has only started now, and this means that the price should really go to 4,000 to 4,500 per Ethereum in terms of these particular price action, for us to really be more to say that yes, the rally has happened, the rally is taking place. Of course, the rally is taking place now, but these particular price moves needs to be even more rapid, needs to be more sharp than anything else. On the weekly time frame, we are seeing that this momentum is picking up, and the 100-week moving average is also about to cross above the 2-week moving average, which is again a very important thing. And on the daily time frame, again, everything looks pretty solid when it comes to Bitcoin price. Nothing really to worry about. On the intraday time frame, we are seeing the consistency of the upward trend, consistency of higher lows forming and higher highs forming as well. So that is very much intact. The third coin that I do look at is, of course, XRP. Highly speculative. really a lot of trouble is going on with it. But I think if it wins the case against the SEC, the potential is quite huge in terms of XRP. We could see some serious momentum coming in XRP, which can really push the prices towards, to the above $1. In terms of XRP, one thing is for sure, that there hasn't been any recovery at all, because back in 2017 the prices touched 3.25, and ever since there has been only retracement, and the recovery is very, very small. Even if I draw the Fibonacci ratio over here, I would say that the prices are really stopping at 38%, which means if a price cannot move above these ones, this thing is really going to get another leg to the downside, another move to the downside. All right. So that was quite a lot of talk on cryptos, and what is my view about Binance BNB? BNB is a good coin. You can because obviously it is a utility, behind the Binance and everything. So I like that. I like Cardano as well. QTIM, obviously it is up 50%, but in the long term I really don't like QTIM because it is nowhere close enough to even recovering its losses. But overall, yeah, things are picking up in Cardano and QTIM, while things are really failing in terms of Ripple. All right, folks, that's all for now. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Hopefully, this was helpful for you, and then you have learned a lot in this one. And remember to follow us on our social media for more further conversation.